Hi, welcome to Cubs and Culture for 1/3/2019. Happy New Year. We're up to The Sting, 1973. Best Picture winner. It's a caper film, or a heist film. I gotta say, I had the pretty much similar reaction that I had with Going My Way, in that the first time I saw this, I absolutely hated this film, but this time I mostly liked it, even though I think the reason why I hated it is still mostly valid. As an interesting side note, this is one of the few films, once the Golden Globes have started to win Best Picture, without being nominated for Best Picture at the Golden Globes, because obviously it's easier to, it's 10 versus 5 for most of the history. There was a debate whether or not it should be in the drama or the comedy category, and apparently it just didn't make it in either one. Anyway, let me bring up some trailer and some clips. See you in a second. Okay, so The Sting is the story of two grifters getting back at this big mucky muck who's a part of the mob for killing a friend of theirs, basically. And the friend's name is Luther, and Johnny Hooker and Henry, the two main grifters, played by Robert Redford and Paul Newman directly. So it's about them pulling a big con on this sleazy, that guy, Lonigan, sleazy underworld banker, who had them killed, because he's running books, he's a bookie, and financing that, and so he was running they stole from him Luther, and Johnny stole from him, and then Luther got killed, and so it's a big con against that guy. So obviously, as a caper film, this film is incredibly plot driven. But my major problem the first time when I I hated it is this has to be one of the most convoluted, over the top fucking con heist plans of all time. Because basically they get Lonigan to hand over $500,000 by setting up a fake bookmaking horse race thing, and it involves like 30 other guys, and at least 3 different groups and working independent of each other, and then there's at least 2 twists in the story, and so at the end of it you're like, how did the fuck did that work? There was too many people involved in this conspiracy. And I still think, I haven't thought about it too much, whether or not it all makes sense. But the first time, I was like, how the hell are they paying for all these guys? Watching it the second time, there's actually some indication that they're kind of paying as they're going, robbing or whatever. Anyway, and so that ridiculous silliness sort of hangs over the entire film for me, and that's why I ended up not liking it the first time, and I still have that feeling that it's too over the top and too ridiculous, but this time I ended able to enjoy it sort of on the prima facie level of being just a light, breezy film. And one thing I've always liked about this film, and this is why I'm showing the credits, is the use of these turning of the pages. Makes it really feel like a storybook, and it's very, very stylish. It's the movie set in the Depression during in Chicago, and there's it's stylized, and it's more than the reality. But the technical aspects, the art direction, and the costumes absolutely feel 1930s Chicago, and they're all very sort of striking. I mean, if you in a weird way, this movie sort of feels like a Dick Tracy story to me. Because of the sort of the art direction and the costume design, and it's all sort of very nice to look at, and it makes the film very, very sort of fun and breezy. So as long as you don't think about the plot too much, if you just sort of accept what's happening in front of your eyes, it's pretty good. Paul Newman and Robert Redford are very charming in the film. So I'm going to show a couple of scenes involving them, because there's also sort of a mentor story, because Robert Redford's a younger grifter and Paul Newman's a older grifter. And so this is the setup. This is them trying to bait Lonigan, basically. And this sort of thing is... so, like, this is what I mean. It's probably by just accepting what happens in front of your eyes. Now, that's probably not Robert Redford doing the card trick. I would almost bet money that it's not, because they're not showing him actually doing it. Even though this is a really like, that's a really cool. I don't even know how the hell the guy is doing it, but there's this trick right here where it pans up and there's no visible cut. So I don't, like, again, I don't think it's Robert Redford. But at the same time, the movie tries to trick you that it is. And so there's that. So you just have to accept what's in front of your face. Now, the other thing that that goes in this movie is there absolutely is I don't want to say coming of age, but like a mentor educational plot involving Johnny, with Henry teaching him how to do the big con. And so that's one of the reasons why I showed the cutting the gin segment, because I sort of like that. Now, this is probably my favorite scene in the entire film, because it's sort of a great bit of psychology, because Lonigan is, even though he's a dirty underground bookmaker and banker, he has ears about himself. And Paul Newman, Henry just sort of comes in and he's totally like a bull in a china shop, if I could use that cliche. And it's sort of a great bit of psychology, because they're trying to get him to goad him into hating him, so he's willing to work with, because the basic idea of the con is that he's pretending to be a bookmaker, and his partner, played by Johnny, is going to go to Lonigan to finance a scheme to bankrupt him. And so this scene is all about getting Lonigan to hate Henry, which is and Paul Newman does this like basically being an asshole very, very well and charming. Now, this scene right here is my other sort of favorite scene, is it sort of talks about sort of bonding over, it's sort of so this is the scene right before the final sting, or the final beat in the caper. It's sort of the summation of their relationship, and then they start off antagonistic, and they sort of become friends, and then they walk off into the sunset together, basically. And I like how there's sort of an implication, because they're playing cribbage, and it's quite clear that Henry's winning. There's sort of an implication that he's cheating, because that's what grifters do. And I like this sort of scene, because it sort of talks about why are they doing this? Because for Henry, it's a matter of just, it seems like a worthwhile thing to do, because it's about the joy of pulling off a con and tricking someone. Because he's not really motivated by money, he's just sort of motivated by the joy of basically getting Lonigan in the pants. Whereas for Johnny, it's all about getting revenge for Luther, and I really sort of like that tension, and I sort of like that they have this bonding moment right before, because the way there's a massive twist where you the audience are supposed to expect that they have a falling out right at the end. I don't want to quite give it away, but it seems like they allow you, if you're paying attention, to realize it's actually a trick of the screenplay. So that's the other reason why I wanted to show this. Now, I ultimately still, this time around, I'm sure if I watch it again, the ridiculousness of the plot will annoy me again. But this time, I was able to just accept it on face value, and on that level, it's a nice breezy film. The art direction and the cinematography and the sort of the technical aspects of direction really make the film very, very fun. In a sense, it's just, god damn it, there's like 30 people involved in this plot. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cubs and Culture out.